Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach and welcome to my press conference. Going to take a look at my side in a minute. Reasonable week. I was pretty pleased, albeit I was fully focused on my draft league, which I'll also take a bit of a look at. So I actually barely checked SuperCoach Classic because I was pretty much barracking for the guys in my draft team. But good score, top 3,000. Clearly my best score for the season. But it definitely was a high scoring week. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, just nice to be on the up. I think the last few weeks I've spoken that I think my team is actually good enough to score amongst the top echelon, and it was nice to actually back that up for once because I have had a reasonably poor trot, so that was good. But I guess, as you can see, only won 7 of the 10 leagues, so it sort of underlines how much of a week it was for big scores. But move on to the team itself. Clearly the back line was really solid. Simpson beefed up his score fairly late. Lloyd, Sicily, Savage, all really solid and big from Laird and Hurley. And then big from Mitchell, Cripps and Dangerfield, really nice. And Oliver for that matter, really good stuff. Merritt turned up. Crouch and Canelo, yeah, solid. And Martin was back to some really good form. And even on the bench, Murphy good, Ahern, Giro, really good. Not that it really matters what they're scoring on the bench, but you just never know. It's good that they're playing good footy. Hopefully stay in the team. Martin, huge. Gawn, huge. Obviously, VC loophole with Dangerfield. And the big one was Robbie Gray. He went off, early in the second half, concussion. It's disappointing. It's probably more disappointing or concerning the fact that he may well miss a week, potentially. And at this point in time, well, I suppose I could potentially jig things around. I'd have to have a play with it. Might be able to find some coverage, but it's not ideal, particularly when you're sitting on the 4 trades. Smith, good. Heaney, great to have him back. McLean was good. Menegola and Walters, particularly Walters, 79, it's so-so, but it's not terrible. But 64, that's really bad. So he's been a bit of a roller coaster, Walters. He's tough to get a read on. His highs are oh so good, but he still seems to have that inconsistency, and I thought he had probably started to lose that, but maybe he's still sort of working his way back from the injury. But I will try and check a few of the leagues. I probably should have popped a few of these up already, but and look, also just on the weekend previews, and I think probably last couple of weeks there's been on some occasions with the Fife talk and that. I have been flat chat, but more so the fact there hasn't been too much to talk about. I do endeavour to get out a couple of videos each week, but the fact is sometimes when you push for time and then you're like, what's there even to really talk about? Are there any pressing issues? But I will endeavour, but this is taking bloody ages, so I really should have loaded those up beforehand. But pleasing to have a good week. Obviously, still got plenty of time to build. What the hell just even happened? I just buggered that right up. Obviously, a few weeks to hopefully again work my way into the top 10,000. We're not going to bother about that. Hopefully, work my way into the top 10,000. That's still what I want to be doing. So a really good week in SuperCoach draft. Won the preliminary final. Got over my good friend Langers. Maybe we're not good friends anymore, I'm not too sure. But a good tussle, beat him by about 250 points. And now I play Dan in the grand final. So that's going to be pretty big. So in terms of Friends Leagues, I've won my Friends League 3 out of the last 5 years, but I've never gone back-to-back. So I won last year. I did talk a fairly big game at the start of the season. I wanted to go back-to-back. And then, as you can see, I talked a big game. I scored the most overall points for the year, finished 3rd on the ladder, and then got bundled out, as you can see in a second. Got bundled out with an absolute stink. I had Fife as captain. Shocking timing. So then I had to do it the hard way. We had to travel interstate, the boys. We knocked off Josh into the prelim, knocked off Lang. So 2 1,800 plus scores is real big, really what you want. So yeah, really pleasing. There is that little extra sense, because you get to this stage of the season in Classic and you sort of like, you know, I've sort of found my mark. You know, obviously some of you guys out there would be pretty heavily invested into the leagues and playing each other in the leagues, which is still fun, but I definitely think the draft is the ultimate mate versus mate. So here's my side, and it's just a fairly consistent side. You know, I've got McGrath on the bench there. Some good pickups. You know, Redden's been a good pickup. Phillips was a really good pickup early in the season. Armitage I got in a couple of weeks back. Dumont, he'll go. I just had to bring him in because I think Jack Trengove was a late withdrawal. Gawn's been a very, very good pick. I picked up Lambert as a free agent. That was great. Billings as a free agent. Hopefully he can catch fire. I brought Parrish in last week. Worked well. And Langford, you know, not too bad. It's a fairly light-on forward line, but I think if Akers can come in and Deledio can come in, then all of a sudden it looks pretty good. Even one of those guys, you know, even Akers might go into the midfield for Dumont or something like that. But I've been hit pretty hard. You know, over the course of the season, I lost Fife. I lost Mills out of my back line. I think there was a bit going on with my forward line, which I can't quite remember, but I mean, we all cop injuries from time to time, but certainly losing Fife, your number one pick, your main captain option on the brink of finals, definitely hurts. But, yeah, really pleasing on that front, and I'll be fully focused on that during the week. We'll give these leagues another crack here, because I know you guys do like to see them, but just got out of work late. And, yeah, I was watching Wimbledon last night, so yeah, otherwise I would have done it then. So hence I'm sort of doing it a little bit later in the piece and just sort of jumped into it and didn't really have any of these league windows up and about. Clearly I'm a technical wizard, and we might just leave it there because the internet is pretty poor. I'm just hotspotting off my phone, and clearly I'm clicking the wrong buttons anyway, trying to do two things at once. But there's my side. 4 trades left. We'll have to trade Robbie Gray. We'll wait and see. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed. I'll be fully focused on draft. Hopefully you had a good score. Some big scores out there. Hopefully you've still been tuning in. I understand that interest in SuperCoach does wane a little bit at this stage of the season. But hopefully you're sticking fat. Hopefully you're still enjoying the videos. Even if you're just getting to the occasional one. That's still great. So thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.